Alright guys, it is time for our annual meeting where we go over the best and the worst sneaker trends for the year ahead. And we need to lock in because 2026 is simultaneously one of the most exciting but also one of the strangest years I've seen. So let's hop in, and I want to start off with one of the bigger trends that happened this year but I think is only going to get bigger next year. And that is sport casual sneakers. Now I kind of just made that name up. I don't think anybody actually coined what this trend is. Maybe it'll catch on. But I'm talking about shoes that are sport specific that have been adapted by brands to be worn casually or for lifestyle wear. Now, we've seen this done heavily in the football category. Adidas has been throwing their F50 football boot into so many different casual midsoles, making it a lifestyle sneaker. Nike has been doing it with the T90 model heavily. And of course, there's been luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, but they kind of did like full-blown football boots. Now, not only has this trend been huge, I mean, you guys remember boots only summer that took over, but next year is of course the World Cup, which will actually be taking place in America, which is why so many brands are kind of catering towards this whole football trend, not only just in sneakers, but that translates to general fashion as well. That's a main big factor of why it's only going to get bigger next year. But also we've seen a bunch of leaks and rumors of different upcoming models that kind of follow this trend as well. Nike is going to be launching their Cryo Shot sneaker not only as a GR model, but have a bunch of different collaborations in the works, like with Palace. I think there might be a Cortez one, and then of course more recently the Off-White or now Virgil Abloh collaboration that's happening next year as well. So expect to see a lot more football sneakers. Now another big one in this category is F1 or motorsports themed sneakers. Puma has kind of been the leader in this space, and obviously F1 has been getting more and more popular, and that's trickled down to fashion and of course sneakers. It makes sense for Puma for sure because their heritage lies in a lot of motorsports. So it's kind of been cool to see them being able to utilize that heritage in a trend that's definitely been happening. Overall, I actually don't mind this trend. It's not personally one for me because a lot of the sneakers tend to be a little bit less comfortable. They're also very low profile and slender, which is not really my thing, but it's creative, it's fun, it's cool. I give this one a pass. Now, switching lanes for a minute, talking about probably one of the biggest brands, Jordan brand. So this one's actually pretty interesting. So in 2025, huge trend specifically for Jordan has been just pumping out retros. As we all know, I don't really need to tell you, but 2025 has been one of the most incredible years for sneakers in general. And a big part of that has been all of the retros that Jordan brand has been doing. Undefeated 4s, black metallic 5s. There is literally, I'm not even gonna bother naming them all. There's so many, it's crazy. But mixed in with all of those retros, some of you guys may not have even been paying attention to this, but Jordan brand has been trying to kind of get a little bit further away from just strictly retros. They launched a bunch of new models like the Jordan 4 RM, the Trunner OS, and the Jordan Session. Some of them aim towards comfort, affordability, but honestly, I think this is where Jordan struggles a little bit. They rely so much on retro sneakers. I mean, it's kind of the whole brand. So when they try and move out of that, it seems like they really struggle with gaining popularity for their non-retro sneakers. And next year, it seems like the whole retro thing is going to be another big trend for Jordan brand, another big push. If you take a look at the release calendar for next year, I mean, it's pretty stacked. The Jordan 4 Breads are coming back again. Jordan 6 Oreos, Flint 13s, Infrared 6s, Toro Bravo 4s, Wolf Grey 5s. They're even bringing back the Off-White collaboration, launching the Jordan 1, even though now it's slightly different. It's now a Virgil Abloh archive collab. Either way, you guys get the point. There's going to be a ton more retros in 2026, and it seems that's where Jordan brand is going to be pushing the hardest. I think the question is whether this will really hit like it did here in 2025 or not. I mean, I don't need to tell you guys this, but Jordan retros on the whole, at least for the general public, have been declining in popularity. For us sneakerheads, it's always going to be a mainstay. But for the past few years, I mean, we've been seeing a lot more of these retro Jordans sit on shelves or head to outlets where they're heavily discounted. So we'll have to wait and see how it pans out, at least for the general mass appeal. Okay, but we can't talk about Jordan brand without talking about Nike. And boy, they're still struggling. 2025 was supposed to be the big year for Nike to kind of turn things around after all of the bad press that they had gotten from different outlets and news articles saying that they had lost touch with the consumers, they've lacked innovation, their sales have been going down, and recently another article came out where, yeah, it shows that they had a terrible day in the stock market, their sales are plummeting out in China, and they are getting absolutely ran through by tariffs. But despite all of this bad news, I actually am pretty optimistic about Nike for 2026. I actually think that they've done a really good job in 2025, specifically when it comes to their products. I'm not talking about the brand as a whole. I've been excited about more stuff in 2025 from Nike than I have been like since 2021. There's been some really cool developments in their running category where they've released the Pegasus Premium, was a phenomenal sneaker. Some of the Vomero stuff and some of the more comfortable shoes that I've tried from them have been some of the most comfortable from any brand. Some basketball line has had some absolute bangers in there with the Nike Ja 3 or the GT Future. And their affordable sneakers have also been extremely impressive. The Nike V5 Runner, one of my favorites from 2025, only $90. I love those things. So I hope that we see some more innovation in these kind of categories with Nike, but yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see, but they're obviously incentivized to be pushing new stuff, and I think they're going to. Now, I don't want to just go over all of the positives. There are some valid criticisms when it comes to Nike. A lot of people have been saying that their prices have been going up and their quality has been declining. A lot of people have noticed that they've started to become less of leaders when it comes to sneaker releases and more following trends from other brands. But I don't know. You let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. But honestly, if I had to put my money on anything, I'm gonna say Nike's gonna be doing some cool stuff in 2026. But hopefully, I don't eat my words on that. Right, sticking with Nike kind of, we gotta talk about their safest bet, Travis Scott. Man, if Nike's sales are slumping, they just bring him into the fold. They push him out on some kind of product and they're all good. Now, a big thing this year has been kind of rumors of Travis Scott leaving Nike for Adidas. And I'm pretty sure he said that that's not happening, but man, could you imagine? Anyway, will the hype for Travis Scott and Travis Scott products continue into 2026? And the short answer, at least in my opinion, is yes, definitely. In fact, I kind of think that it might be bigger next year. So in 2025, we saw a big push from Travis Scott and Nike into specifically the Jumpman Jack and the Nike model, the Trail Jack, whatever that one was called. Those are his two brand new signature sneaker models. We saw a bunch of different colorways and collaborations on that one specifically, and we only got one Jordan 1. The interesting thing is that even though we did get a decent amount of these Jumpman Jack and Nike shoe colorways, none of them seemed to move the needle quite as much as his Jordan collaborations. And that was proven when they dropped the fragments and everybody went absolutely insane for those. It just reminded us all what Travis Scott hype is really like. And I also feel like it's given Nike and Travis Scott a lot of data in 2025, because next year it seems like they are pivoting away from the Jumpman Jack and the Nike shoe and back towards the Jordan collabs. So based off of the rumors and the release calendars, we know that we're going to be getting that Shy Pink pack that's two different colorways on the Jordan 1 Low model, but there's even talks of another Jordan 1 High that's going to be releasing. There's also potential for other Jordan models as well. We've heard the leaks and rumors of a Jordan 3 or a Jordan 7. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking at this point it's getting a little bit repetitive, and to some extent I agree with you, but the numbers don't lie. Every single time this man does a Jordan collab, it breaks the internet. So if it ain't broke, you know, why would they do anything else? And very clearly, people are nowhere near as hyped for his signature sneaker models as they are for a Jordan 1 or any other Jordan collab. So yeah, because of all of that, I would just expect to see more of the same kind of next year. But another big collaborator, Nigel Sylvester. That's an interesting one for 2026. Arguably the biggest collaborator in sneakers in 2025. I mean, he pretty much unanimously won Sneaker of the Year for his Brick by Brick 4s. And by the looks of it, he's got some big plans for 2026. I mean, for starters, it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't capitalize on all of the hype or attention that he's getting in 2025. So that should definitely carry through to the next year. And I'm sure they've got a ton planned, but as of right now, we know of one main one that's going to be dropping, which is his new colorway of the Jordan 4. And I mean, I think those ones are going to be huge because, wow, they're beautiful. But I do think that there's going to be a ton more, and I think we're going to see a lot more versatility from him, trying different Jordan models and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But Nigel Sylvester, big one for 2026. All right, let's escape the whole Nike Jordan route. Let's move on to something else. Let's talk about the next trend, which I think is going to be pretty big in 2026, and that is chunky sneakers. Now, this one's slightly weird because calling it a trend, I don't think is completely accurate. I mean, when chunky sneakers first became a thing, like that was a few years ago now, but it kind of dropped off when the whole like low profile slim shoe thing came in, and that was a huge trend. But now I think chunky shoes are a little bit less of a trend and more of a mainstay, but I do think it's worth calling them a trend for, you know, this video. Now, what we have seen in 2025 are the rumblings of a huge resurgence of chunky sneakers, and I do think Adidas and the Pharrell jellyfish are largely responsible. I think that sneaker in particular is going to have a huge year in 2026. I mean, we kind of got a little taste here in 2025, but that's going to be a massive one for next year. Now, not only that one, but they also introduced the Squid, I think they call it, or the Adistar XLG 3.0, I think it is at this point, whatever the name is, that affordable breakdown version of the jellyfish, which only got a very, very small launch a couple weeks ago. It is penciled in for a January release to have its like main global one, and I think that's going to be an extremely popular model. Now, other than those two shoes, Adidas does have a full line of XLG or chunky shoes that they offer on their website. We have the XLG Runner, the XLG Samba, the Campus shoes all come in chunky variations, and those are all incredibly popular. And even though I do believe that Adidas is kind of at the forefront with these chunky styles, a lot of other brands have also jumped on as well. Puma has a lot of chunky versions of their sneakers, Vans obviously with the New School, incredibly popular model, and there's a ton. I don't really need to go over all of it, but I do think chunky sneakers are going to be a big thing in 2026, but it's going to feel a little bit more like a mainstay rather than a huge viral trend. Right, we're going to do a quick speed run segment because I just want to kind of bash these ones off of the list. First one, Vans. Get ready for Vans in 2026. Right at the end of this year, Vans started coming out with some incredibly high demand sneaker models. I think the two main ones that I can think of off the top of my head are the pearlized ones and also the Vans Souvenir, the ones that kind of look like the Chanel bag. Both of those instantly sold out. Some of them are reselling for a ton of money. So I think Vans is going to kind of capitalize on this, release a bunch of really cool GR models, but also introduce some collaborations that do their thing in the sneaker game. You know what that is: sell out, resell, cause a bunch of drama, and it'll trickle down into Vans just kind of becoming a bit of a trend in 2026. That's at least where I'm going to put my money. Another trend, or I guess development immersion, is going to be 3D printed sneakers in 2026. I think the general public got a big taste of 3D printed shoes here in 2025. That was Adidas launching their model. I mean, seeing 3D printed shoes in store is pretty crazy, but obviously the leaders of this space has to be Zellerfeld, and I think what they did with Nike kind of proved how successful 3D printed shoes can be with the 95,000s and obviously the Air Max 1000s. Zellerfeld is pretty unique in this aspect where they offer a lot of opportunity to smaller creators who want to get involved into 3D printing their own shoes, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that. Independent designers and different content creators and stuff like that creating their own sneaker models. I do also think that a lot of other brands are going to follow suit and use Zellerfeld's platform to create some more of these sneakers. I think it's really great tech, but I do also understand that it's hard to kind of wrap your head around these shoes unless you experience the comfort and feel it in hand, because it is truly crazy. Either way, I said this is a speed run, so let's keep on going. Next one, Yeezy. I do think that there's a big potential for Yeezy to have a pretty big comeback in 2026. So obviously not as we used to know it as the Adidas collaboration, but the independent Yeezy. This year in 2025, they've rebuilt their entire website. They offer a ton of clothing and footwear for extremely affordable prices. Kind of shocked the world when they launched their Yeezy slides for $20, the ones that are identical to the $250 Adidas ones. I've tried the clothing and different products from them, and honestly, it's pretty impressive for the price tag. In 2026, it looks like they're going to be bringing back a lot of the other, Yeezy sneakers from their archive. Like, I think the first one that we should see a release of is the Yeezy 950 boot. Ye has been wearing that and teasing that, and it's also in all of the imagery on their website. So that's a potential launch. That definitely opens up the door for other Yeezy archive products to appear on this super affordable website. We can't really call it $20 now, but a lot of it is $20. But yeah, overall, I think if they can fix their shipping issues, the issues that basically mean it takes an entire year for you to receive what you actually bought from the website, if they can fix that, then I think a lot more people will be willing to actually try something from this website. Another big trend, and I think this one's going to go pretty crazy in 2026, and that is hybrid shoes. So what I mean by that is these kind of lifestyle running shoe crossover sneakers that we've seen a bunch of brands kind of prioritize and release in 2025. So a lot of these sportswear brands have kind of clocked how a lot of people wear running shoes casually because they're kind of the most comfortable shoes that you can get. So what they've done is kind of adapted a lot of these performance running shoes into something that you can actually wear casually. I think it's a big part of why Nike did so well with their running line. I mean, the Pegasus Premium almost to runners seems like a casual shoe more than it is just a, you know, a running shoe. Got the Vomero Plus, the Vomero 18, incredibly comfortable everyday shoes. But I think Adidas arguably takes the crown when it comes to this with the insanely popular Evo SL. This, from its inception, was marketed as a running and lifestyle sneaker. In all of their marketing, they say you can wear it running or just wear it, you know, around the town with different outfits. And it shows in the design of this pair of shoes. I mean, it's so good looking that it makes sense that it's something you can just rock casually. And it seems they're really going to be leaning into this in 2026 because they've announced some other models that are definitely more towards the casual wear. They've got like a zipper version, they've got the exoskeleton version, and then the all-terrain one that they just launched is also pretty great for casual wear. Now, obviously, a ton of other brands have been doing this. It's not just Nike and Adidas. New Balance released the Fresh Foam Trainer, which is quite literally a lifestyle shoe upper with a running shoe midsole. So yeah, I think a lot more brands are going to start prioritizing these hybrid shoes because it is such a popular option for so many people. And that definitely leads into the next trend, which I think it might be one of the biggest out of all of these, and that is people opting for comfort. Now, kind of a trend, or kind of just consumers realizing the importance of comfort, or just how much they appreciate it. This whole shift of consumers really prioritizing comfort is arguably why the retro runner boom has been so massive. I mean, for brands like Asics and New Balance, it's almost their entire business is selling these retro runners. And that's obviously forced a lot of other brands to try and play catch up, like Nike and Adidas, bringing back some of their old retro runners from the archives. But in short, I cannot see this trend going away for the foreseeable future. I think it's one of those things that, like, when you realize when you start wearing comfortable shoes, there's no going back. You're not doing a full day of walking and standing on your feet in something really nice and cozy like a pair of Asics Kayano 14s or Vomero Pluses and, you know, feeling that comfort and then going back to jamming your foot into something that's like super, you know, tight leather and a rubber outsole. You're not doing that. So yes, I think retro runners is still going to be absolutely massive in 2026. It just really is, where can these brands take this whole thing? What are they going to introduce that's new? That's the biggest question. But you know what else is going to be a massive trend? The subscribe button. Now is the time to join the channel by subscribing, because that is the biggest trend out of all of them. Have a great New Year's, guys, and I will catch you in 2026. Let's make it a good one.